In the biting cold of a winter evening in 1923, the Fort Worth train station bustled with hurried travelers, their breath visible in the frosty air as the wind swept through, carrying the sharp scent of coal smoke and damp earth. Among the throng, Clara Bennett stood out, not for her attire or stature, but for the quiet determination etched into her features. Her thin coat, threadbare and ill-suited for the Texas chill, clung to her frame as she clutched her worn leather medical satchel tightly to her side. The satchel was more than just a bag. It was a lifeline, holding the few medical instruments she had managed to keep through her recent move from Dallas. The station was a cacophony of whistles, shouts, and the rhythmic clatter of wheels against steel, but Clara's mind was elsewhere. She scanned the schedule board with tired eyes, hoping for any indication that the delayed train would arrive soon. The cold bit through her gloves, numbing her fingers, and she wrapped her arms around herself, trying to preserve what little warmth she had left. Her breath came in shallow puffs as she searched for a place to shelter from the relentless wind, but the station offered little more than exposed platforms and a small, crowded waiting room overrun by other stranded passengers. Clara had been on the move for days, fleeing the haunting memories of a hospital overwhelmed by a recent epidemic. In Dallas, she had worked tirelessly, her nursing skills stretched thin amid the chaos and loss. When the epidemic subsided, the scars it left behind were not just physical but deeply emotional. Determined to start anew, she had packed what little she could carry and boarded the train heading west. Now, stranded and without money for a boarding house, Clara faced the prospect of spending a bitter night exposed to the unforgiving cold. As the minutes dragged on with no sign of the train, Clara's hope waned. She considered seeking out a nearby hotel but knew her funds would barely cover a single night's stay, if that. Her thoughts drifted to the future she had envisioned, a place where she could put her nursing skills to good use, far from the shadow of the epidemic that had consumed her former life. The uncertainty gnawed at her, mingling uneasily with the physical chill. It was then that a shadow fell across her, and a strong, steady voice broke through the din of the station. "Miss, you look like you could use some warmth." Clara turned to see a tall man in a weathered leather jacket and a wide-brimmed hat pulled low against the wind. His eyes were sharp but kind, and his stance exuded the quiet confidence of a man accustomed to the rugged life of the Texas plains. The man introduced himself as Cole Dawson, a cattle rancher known among locals as the Millionaire Cowboy. His reputation for wealth and hard work preceded him, but tonight, it was his generosity that drew Clara's attention. Without hesitation, he slipped off his thick overcoat and draped it around her shoulders. The heavy fabric was a balm against the biting cold, and Clara felt a flicker of gratitude spark within her guarded heart. Cole gestured toward a carriage waiting nearby, its wheels coated in mud from recent rains. "Come with me. My ranch isn't far, and I have a fire that could use some tending. You shouldn't be out here freezing all night." Clara hesitated, wary of strangers and mindful of the stories she had heard about wealthy men with hidden agendas. Yet, something in Cole's steady gaze and unassuming demeanor prompted her to accept his offer. As they traveled the short distance to the Dawson Ranch, the city's harsh lights gave way to the soft glow of lanterns dotting the expanse of land. The ranch itself was a sprawling expanse of rolling hills and sturdy wooden fences, a stark contrast to the cramped, noisy station they had just left behind. Cole spoke little during the ride, allowing the rhythm of the horses' hooves and the night's quiet to settle over them both. Upon arrival, Clara was led into a warm, rustic home where the scent of burning wood and fresh coffee filled the air. The ranch hands gathered around a large hearth, their faces weathered but welcoming. Cole introduced Clara to the men as their new guest, and she sensed a genuine respect in his voice that extended beyond mere politeness. Over steaming cups, Cole explained his desire to have a nurse on the ranch, someone who could care for both his workers and family. The position was not just a favor, but a genuine offer of employment, a chance for Clara to rebuild her life in a place where her skills would be valued. Despite her lingering doubts, Clara felt a cautious hope begin to take root. As the evening wore on, Clara found herself recounting fragments of her past. The epidemic in Dallas, the exhaustion that had nearly broken her, and the yearning for a fresh start. Cole listened attentively, never interrupting, his eyes reflecting a mix of empathy and admiration. He shared stories of the ranch, of the challenges and rewards that came with life on the frontier, painting a picture of a world vastly different from the hospital wards she had left behind. That night, wrapped in a warm blanket by the fire, Clara allowed herself to relax for the first time in weeks. The cold that had gnawed at her bones was replaced by a different kind of warmth, the possibility of belonging, the chance to heal not just others but herself. Outside, the wind continued to howl across the prairie, but inside the walls of the Dawson Ranch, a fragile new beginning was taking shape. Clara's journey was far from over, but in the quiet companionship of Cole Dawson and the welcoming embrace of the ranch, she glimpsed a future where hope could grow again. The train station was now a distant memory, replaced by the steady heartbeat of ranch life and the promise of a new chapter waiting to be written. Days turned into weeks at the Dawson Ranch, and Clara Bennett found herself settling into a rhythm that was both unfamiliar and oddly comforting. The sprawling Texas landscape, with its endless skies and whispering grasses, became a backdrop to her new life, a stark contrast to the sterile halls of the Dallas hospital she had left behind. Each morning, she awoke to the low murmur of cattle and the distant calls of ranch hands beginning their work, a symphony of sounds that slowly replaced the haunting echoes of the epidemic. Clara's backstory, once a closely guarded secret, began to surface in quiet moments shared with Cole Dawson. She recounted the harrowing days when the epidemic had swept through Dallas, overwhelming hospitals and draining resources. Nurses like her had worked around the clock, battling not only the disease but the despair that clung to the air. She spoke of friends lost to the illness and the exhaustion that had nearly claimed her resolve. Leaving Dallas had been a painful but necessary choice, a desperate bid to escape the shadows that threatened to consume her. Cole listened with a steady gaze, his respect for Clara deepening with each revelation. He admired her resilience, the courage it took to bear witness to so much suffering and still hold on to hope. In turn, he shared his own story, the legacy of the Dawson Ranch, built on hard work and determination, and the responsibility he felt to those who depended on him. Their conversations, often held beside the fire or as they walked the rolling pastures, wove a tapestry of shared understanding and growing trust. With Cole's encouragement, Clara accepted his offer to stay at the ranch as the resident nurse. The role was demanding but rewarding. She tended to sprains and cuts from horseback riding, treated respiratory infections brought on by dust and weather, and cared for the occasional broken bone with steady hands. Her medical satchel, once a symbol of uncertainty, became a tool of healing and reassurance. The ranch hands, initially wary of the city nurse, came to respect her not only for her skills but for her kindness and unwavering dedication. Adjusting to ranch life presented its challenges. Clara grappled with the roughness of the environment, the dust that clung to her clothes, the unpredictable weather, and the physical toll of long days spent on her feet. Yet, each obstacle was met with a quiet determination, fueled by the knowledge that her work mattered. She found unexpected joy in simple moments, sharing a meal with the ranch hands, learning the names of the cattle, and watching sunsets paint the sky in hues of gold and crimson. Cole's presence was a constant reassurance. He was a man of few words, but his actions spoke volumes. He made sure Clara had everything she needed, from warm clothes to a comfortable room in the ranch house. His respect for her independence was evident. He never pressured her but offered support whenever she faltered. Over time, a friendship blossomed, rooted in mutual admiration and the shared experiences of building something new from the ashes of their pasts. One afternoon, as Clara tended to a minor injury on one of the ranch hands, Cole joined her outside the clinic room, leaning casually against the doorframe. The sun was high, casting long shadows across the dusty yard. "You're doing good work here," he said quietly. "The men talk about you, how you don't just patch wounds but listen to their troubles." Clara smiled, a warmth spreading through her chest that had little to do with the Texas sun. "Thank you," she replied, meeting his gaze. "It's not always easy, but it feels right, like this is where I'm supposed to be." Cole nodded, his expression thoughtful. "We're glad to have you. This ranch, these people, They need someone like you. The simplicity of his words carried weight, and Clara felt the walls she had built around herself begin to crumble. As the weeks progressed, Clara's confidence grew. She began to take on more responsibility, organizing medical supplies and training a couple of the younger ranch hands in basic first aid. Her presence brought a new sense of security to the ranch, and even the stoic men who rarely spoke of their feelings acknowledged her importance. The physical hardships of ranch life no longer seemed insurmountable. Instead, they became part of the fabric of her days, grounding her in a purpose she had long sought. Despite the growing bond between them, Clara remained cautious. The scars of her past, both visible and unseen, made her wary of allowing herself to become too close to anyone, especially a man as prominent and wealthy as Cole Dawson. She was mindful of the differences between their worlds, the city she had left behind and the rugged frontier she now called home. Yet, beneath her guarded exterior, a flicker of hope began to glow, a tentative belief that perhaps this new life could offer more than escape. It could offer belonging. Cole, for his part, was patient. He understood the careful pace Clara needed and never pushed her beyond her comfort zone. Instead, he showed his affection through small gestures. A hand on her shoulder during a difficult day, a shared smile across the dinner table, a promise to protect the ranch and those on it. Their friendship, steady and unspoken, evolved into something more profound, a quiet foundation upon which trust and respect flourished. One evening, as a warm breeze carried the scent of sagebrush and wood smoke, Cole invited Clara to join him for a ride across the prairie. Mounted side by side, they rode beneath a sky ablaze with stars, the vastness of the land stretching out before them. In that moment, the barriers between their lives seemed to dissolve, replaced by a shared sense of freedom and possibility. Clara realized that the future she had once feared might hold something unexpected, a chance not only to heal others, but to mend her own heart. Back at the ranch, the fire crackled in the hearth, casting flickering shadows on the walls. Clara sat close to the warmth, reflecting on how far she had come. The journey from a haunted nurse fleeing Dallas to a respected figure at the Dawson Ranch was marked by courage and resilience. Yet, it was the connections she forged with Cole, the ranch hands, and the land itself that gave her the strength to believe in a tomorrow filled with promise. Though uncertainties remained, Clara Bennett was no longer a woman adrift. She was part of something greater, a community bound by hard work, compassion, and the unyielding spirit of the Texas frontier. With each passing day, she embraced her role as nurse and friend, knowing that this new beginning was just the first step on a path toward healing and hope. The sun had barely risen over the Dawson Ranch when chaos erupted across the pastures. A thunderous roar shattered the morning calm as a startled herd of cattle stampeded, their hooves pounding the earth like a rolling avalanche. The ranch hands scrambled, shouting warnings and trying desperately to steer the frightened animals away from danger. Amid the turmoil, a young cowboy named Danny was caught in the fray, thrown violently against a fence post. His cries of pain pierced the air, drawing the attention of everyone nearby. Clara, who was preparing breakfast in the ranch house, heard the commotion and rushed outside. The scene that greeted her was one of panic and urgency. Men shouting commands, horses galloping, and cattle surging forward with wild abandon. Cole was already present, his face set in grim determination as he coordinated efforts to contain the stampede. Spotting Clara, he called out, "Danny's hurt bad. We need you now." Without hesitation, Clara pushed through the crowd and knelt beside Danny, who lay motionless, his leg twisted at an unnatural angle and blood seeping through torn clothing. The pain etched on his young face was raw and immediate, but his spirit remained unbroken. Clara's hands moved swiftly yet gently, assessing the injury amid the dust and noise. She recognized a severe fracture, compounded by deep lacerations that threatened to worsen without prompt care. "Get the splints," Clara commanded, her voice steady despite the urgency. A couple of ranch hands hurried off, returning quickly with rough wooden boards and strips of cloth. Under Clara's direction, they fashioned a makeshift splint, immobilizing Danny's leg to prevent further damage. The young cowboy's breathing was shallow, and Clara noted signs of shock, pressing a cool cloth to his forehead to soothe him. The next challenge was transporting Danny to the ranch house for more thorough treatment. Cole and several men lifted him carefully onto a wagon, and Clara climbed aboard, her fingers never leaving the injured leg. The ride was jarring, but Clara's presence offered Danny comfort amid the pain and uncertainty. Once inside the warm confines of the ranch house, she set to work cleaning the wounds with the antiseptics she had on hand, her touch both firm and compassionate. Hours passed as Clara tended to Danny's injury, stitching lacerations and wrapping his leg in bandages soaked with medicinal herbs. The other injured ranch hands were brought in one by one, each requiring attention for bruises, sprains, or minor cuts sustained during the stampede. Clara moved tirelessly between them, her skill and composure turning a scene of crisis into one of hope and recovery. Cole watched with admiration, his heart swelling with pride at Clara's bravery and expertise. She was more than a nurse. She was a beacon of calm in the storm, a steady hand guiding the ranch through its darkest hour. As the last of the injured were cared for, Cole approached her, his eyes reflecting a mixture of relief and something more profound. "You saved their lives today," he said quietly, his voice thick with emotion. "I don't know what we would have done without you." Clara met his gaze, feeling the weight of his words settle between them. The respect and gratitude in his eyes stirred something in her, a warmth that reached beyond professional duty. In the days that followed, the ranch slowly returned to its usual rhythm, though the memory of the stampede lingered. Danny, now resting comfortably in a sturdy cast, became a symbol of resilience and the strength of the community Clara had come to cherish. The other ranch hands spoke often of her courage, their initial wariness transformed into admiration and trust. Amid this backdrop of recovery, the emotional undercurrents between Clara and Cole began to surface. One evening, as the sun dipped low and painted the sky in shades of amber and rose, Cole found Clara sitting alone by the fire pit outside the ranch house. The flickering flames cast a warm glow on her thoughtful face, and the gentle crackle of wood filled the silence between them. "I've been meaning to tell you something," Cole began, his voice tentative yet sincere. "Ever since you came here, things have changed. Not just on the ranch, but for me." Clara looked up, her heart quickening at the vulnerability in his tone. "You've brought hope where there was doubt, strength where there was weakness. I've fallen. Well, I suppose I've fallen in love with you." Her breath caught, emotions swirling in a tempest she had long kept at bay. The walls she had built to protect herself trembled under the weight of his confession. For so long, she had guarded her heart against the pain of loss and disappointment. Yet now, faced with the possibility of love, she felt both fear and longing. "I didn't expect this," she admitted softly, her eyes searching his. "But I feel the same, Cole. It's frightening, but it's real." Their hands found each other, fingers intertwining with a tenderness that spoke of new beginnings and unspoken promises. That night, beneath the vast Texas sky dotted with stars, their connection deepened. The fire's warmth mirrored the growing flame between them, a quiet affirmation that two souls, shaped by hardship and hope, had found solace in one another. In the days that followed, their bond continued to grow, becoming an integral part of daily life on the ranch. Conversations around the dinner table carried an undercurrent of affection. Shared glances held longer than before, and moments of laughter softened the edges of their duties. The ranch hands noticed, exchanging knowing smiles and gentle teasing that brought a lightness to the once grim atmosphere. One evening, as the cool night breeze stirred the curtains of the ranch house, Cole led Clara to a secluded spot beneath a canopy of ancient oaks. The moon cast a silver glow over the landscape, illuminating the earnestness in his eyes. Reaching into his pocket, he produced a simple yet elegant ring, a band of silver engraved with a delicate pattern inspired by the prairie wildflowers. "Clara," he said, voice steady but filled with emotion, "I want to spend my life with you. Will you marry me?" Time seemed to pause as Clara gazed at the ring, then into Cole's hopeful face. The fears and doubts that once clouded her heart melted away, replaced by a profound sense of certainty. "Yes," she whispered, tears shining in her eyes. "Yes, I will." The ranch echoed with the promise of their union, a celebration not just of love, but of the resilience and courage that had brought them together. News of their engagement spread quickly through the community, and they were met with cheers and heartfelt congratulations. The ranch hands rallied to support the couple, eager to honor the woman who had become a pillar of strength and the man who had won her heart. Together, Clara and Cole embraced the future, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, united by a love forged in the fires of adversity and tempered by mutual respect. Their story, still unfolding, was a testament to the transformative power of courage, compassion, and the unyielding spirit of the Texas frontier. The day of Clara and Cole's wedding dawned bright and clear, a warm spring breeze carrying the scent of wildflowers across the Dawson Ranch. The entire community had gathered to celebrate the union of two souls whose love had blossomed amidst hardship and hope. The ranch hands, townsfolk, and family members mingled beneath a canopy of sprawling oaks, their faces alight with joy and anticipation. The ceremony was to be a grand affair, blending the rugged traditions of the cowboy life with the refined sensibilities Clara brought from the city. Clara stood in the modest bridal suite of the ranch house, her fingers trembling slightly as she fastened the delicate lace of her wedding dress. The gown was simple yet elegant, a gift from a local seamstress whose story had touched Clara's. As she gazed into the mirror, she felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. The journey that had brought her here, from a stranded nurse at a cold train station to the bride of a respected rancher, seemed almost surreal. Meanwhile, Cole prepared himself with quiet resolve, donning a tailored suit that still bore the dust of the prairie. A black replaced his usual wide-brimmed hat with a felt one, polished and pristine. As he adjusted his cufflinks, he glanced out the window toward the gathering crowd, his heart swelling with pride and gratitude. This day was not just a celebration of love but a testament to the resilience and unity of their community. The ceremony took place beneath the largest oak tree on the ranch, its ancient branches stretching toward the sky like protective arms. A local preacher, known for his heartfelt sermons and gentle humor, officiated, weaving words that honored both the sacredness of marriage and the rugged spirit of the frontier. Clara's voice trembled slightly as she recited her vows, promising care, loyalty, and unwavering support. Cole's response was steady and sincere, his eyes never leaving hers. As they exchanged rings, the sun broke through the canopy, casting a golden glow that seemed to bless their union. The crowd erupted in applause, cheers mingling with the soft rustle of leaves and the distant call of cattle. The celebration that followed was filled with music, dancing, and hearty feasts, a joyful melding of city elegance and cowboy grit. Clara found herself laughing freely, her earlier apprehensions melting away in the warmth of shared happiness. But amid the revelry, a shadow lurked on the horizon. A rival rancher named Jedediah Crane, known for his bitter rivalry with Cole and envy of the Dawson Ranch's success, viewed the marriage as a threat to his own standing. Jedediah's jealousy festered into a quiet campaign of sabotage, fueled by rumors and deceit aimed at undermining Cole's influence and Clara's growing presence in the community. Whispers spread that Clara was a social climber, that she sought to manipulate Cole for his wealth and social status. Letters filled with false accusations found their way to local newspapers, and certain townsfolk began to distance themselves, uncertain whom to believe. The tension was palpable, casting a pall over what should have been a time of unbridled joy. Clara felt the sting of suspicion keenly. The harsh words and sideways glances reminded her of the prejudices she had fled in Dallas. Yet she refused to be cowed. With Cole's unwavering support, she confronted the rumors head-on, determined to protect their reputation and the future they had built together. Together, they called a meeting of the ranch hands and community leaders, addressing the falsehoods with honesty and transparency. Cole spoke of Clara's dedication, her tireless work healing the injured and bringing comfort to those in need. The ranch hands, having witnessed her compassion and skill firsthand, stood firmly by her side, their loyalty a testament to her strength. Clara, too, shared her story, not as a plea for sympathy but as a declaration of truth. She spoke of the epidemic that had ravaged Dallas, of the heartbreak and exhaustion she endured, and of her commitment to serving this new community with all her heart. Her words resonated, breaking through the fog of doubt and rekindling trust. Over time, the community rallied around the couple, their unity serving as a shield against Jedediah's schemes. The rivals' efforts faltered, exposed by the strength of truth and the bonds forged through shared hardship. Jedediah's influence waned, and with it, the dark cloud that had threatened to overshadow the Dawson Ranch. The trials only deepened Clara and Cole's resolve. Their love, tested by adversity, emerged stronger and more enduring. They embraced the challenges as part of their journey, knowing that together, there was no obstacle they could not overcome. In the quiet moments that followed the storm, Clara and Cole found solace in each other's arms. The ranch, once a place of uncertainty, was now a home filled with laughter, hope, and unwavering support. Their partnership extended beyond love, encompassing a shared vision for the future. A future where compassion and courage would continue to guide their path. As they planned for the days ahead, including expanding the ranch and establishing a rural clinic, Clara and Cole knew that their story was far from over. Yet, with every challenge met and every victory won, they laid the foundation for a legacy that would inspire generations to come, a legacy born of love's triumph over adversity. Years passed, and the Dawson Ranch flourished under the steadfast partnership of Cole and Clara. The once sprawling expanse of rugged land grew into a prosperous enterprise, its fences stretching farther, its herds growing stronger, and its influence weaving deeper into the fabric of the Texas frontier. But it was not the cattle or the acres that defined their legacy. It was the life they built together, rooted in love, resilience, and a shared vision for the community they cherished. Clara's role evolved beyond tending wounds and nursing the ranch hands back to health. Inspired by the challenges she had faced in Dallas and the needs she saw among the rural families scattered across the plains, she established a modest clinic on the ranch grounds. At first, it was a simple wooden structure, stocked with basic medical supplies and staffed by Clara herself. Word spread quickly of the compassionate care offered there, drawing patients from miles around, travelers, neighboring ranchers, and townsfolk alike. Recognizing the importance of sustainable care, Clara later founded a nursing school within the clinic, determined to train a new generation of caregivers who could serve the frontier's isolated communities. The school became a beacon of hope, attracting young women eager to learn and make a difference. Under Clara's guidance, the program emphasized not only medical skills but also empathy and resilience, qualities she knew were essential for life on the rugged plains. Cole stood proudly by her side, his support unwavering. He provided the land, resources, and encouragement needed to transform Clara's vision into reality. Together, they worked tirelessly, their partnership a blend of strength and tenderness that inspired all who knew them. The ranch hands, many of whom had once been wary of the city nurse, now regarded Clara as a pillar of the community, an emblem of kindness and determination. Their love, forged in the crucible of hardship, deepened with each passing year. They raised 3 children, instilling in them the values of hard work, compassion, and integrity. Family gatherings around the hearth were filled with laughter and stories, the warmth of their bond radiating outward to touch friends and neighbors alike. The tale of Clara and Cole Dawson evolved into more than a personal saga. It became a celebrated legend within Texas folklore. Their story was told and retold at gatherings, a testament to the transformative power of love and perseverance. It was a narrative that spoke to the dreams of reinvention, the courage to face adversity, and the profound impact one couple could have on a community. Even as time etched lines upon their faces and silvered their hair, Clara and Cole remained inseparable. Their partnership weathered every storm, literal and figurative, and stood as a beacon of hope in a changing world. When they passed, years apart but united in spirit, the legacy they left behind was vibrant and enduring. The Dawson Ranch continued to thrive, with the clinic and nursing school expanding to serve more communities. Their names were synonymous with healing and hope. Their children carried forward the torch, honoring the principles their parents had lived by. The story of Clara and Cole Dawson lived on, inspiring generations to believe in the power of compassion, the strength found in unity, and the endless possibilities born from a love that could transform lives. In the vast expanse of the Texas frontier, amidst the whispering grasses and endless skies, the legacy of Clara and Cole remained, a testament to the enduring power of love, courage, and the human spirit's capacity to rebuild, to heal, and to inspire. If you loved the story, like the video and subscribe.